And then when I graduated high school, I was sick and tired of this small town that I lived in. I wanted to go to San Francisco. One of my sisters lived here. When one sister was in San Francisco, and another sister was in San Jose. She was organizing cannery workers. So when I graduated high school, I headed for Northern California, and I stayed in San Jose with my sister Marie. She was organizing cannery workers, and she organized a meeting, I guess, of Young Communist League members. I think that's what they were, and Archie Brown was coming to speak to them. So he came down. I don't remember about the meeting, or how many there was called off. I have no recollection. I wasn't at the meeting, but he was going back to San Francisco the next day. It was hitchhiking. So I decided to go with him because I had another sister living in San Francisco, and I didn't want to stay in San Jose. I didn't want to work in the canneries. You know, I was 18, fresh out of high school. So I went to San Francisco, and soon a romance blossomed between Archie Brown and me. I stayed with my sister for a while, and then well, it wasn't too long. I think it was in February of '36, and I had finished high school in June of '35, and that's when I had gone north. And there was a YCL meeting in L.A. I've forgotten what the date was, and Archie and I decided that not only will we go to the meeting, but we will get married while we were down there, rather than to get married in San Francisco. So that was a good idea, because we wanted to take my mother with us, because I looked like I was about 15 at that time. So anyway, so we went to Southern California to this YCL meeting, and we took my mother. My parents lived in Ontario, which is 40 miles east of Los Angeles. And we took my mother to L.A. to in case there was some question about my age or whatever. So we got married, and we took my mother back to Ontario, and then we hitchhiked back to San Francisco. And we settled down as we had been before. And what can I tell you? I don't remember nothing important then, because this was '36, and I think already '37 Arch was interested in going to Spain. But I think he didn't go because he had to make 2 trips to New York. And finally, the second one, they stowed him away on this Hamburg Line German ship. Bill Wheeler. Bill Wheeler was one of the guys who came back, and Al Tanz was the other. Those 2 guys had been in Spain. They were both sent back. I don't remember why. Either they were injured, but anyway, they came home. But they were going back on that Hamburg line, and that's why they put Archie to stow away on that ship. So they all went back to Spain together, and they had these guys to protect him, feed him, blah blah blah. So they got back, and they got to Spain. And what can I tell you about what he did in Spain?
I can look that up.
You can look that up.
So what happened when he came back? How did that affect your life?
Well, he came back. I believe they came in. I think they arrived at 5th and Mission on one of those buses. You know, what do we call them? American Can Company type. You know, a bus. And several guys from Spain came home on the same bus. And I remember that one of the guys who was on the bus with Archie, and he says to Archie, when I came close or whatever, he says, "Hey Brown, is that your San Francisco wife?" So anyway, so Archie came home, And we set up housekeeping, and well, I wouldn't say soon I got pregnant, but this was in December, and Doug was born the 15th of December of 39.
Mm-hmm.
So I got pregnant, in a couple of months. And he went back to work on the waterfront. And, I have to think. I got a job in a law office. When he was in Spain, I went home and I went to business college. I learned shorthand, typing I knew from high school. And here comes my grandson. He is back from where he's been. And then I got a job, and I worked up to, I don't know, 3 weeks before the baby was born. I took a leave, and I went back to work, I don't know, guess when he was 3 months old. I didn't, as I did with my other kids, I stayed home and I nursed them, but I went back to work. I got somebody to replace me. I worked for a lawyer named George Anderson and Herb Resner. They were both left-wing lawyers. And I worked there for years, as a matter of fact. Had children, went back to work, that sort of thing. And Arch went back to work on the waterfront, and so that's about what all there is to tell. And then World War II broke out, and he went in the Army. And then the McCarthy period started after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the party decided to build an underground movement that they were going to be choked to death if they didn't. So he was chosen to go underground, and I think it had to do with the date that the Supreme Court, somehow I have in my mind, I'd have to think about it, but I believe the Supreme Court decision, whatever it was, that outlawed the communists, that's when he disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So, go on, Nubis. Please get up. Go on.
Fine, Nubis.
So by time, let me see, by time he went in the Army, well, Corey's here, so he'll go play with Corey.
Right.
I'm trying to think. When I think that my youngest child, I think Casey. Oh, I think I've got that. I think that the Supreme Court decision came down whatever day it was. It was that day that he left. And isn't it funny how those specifics get away? I know that my youngest child was a month old. She was born the 2nd of January. No, so soon thereafter that Supreme Court decision came, and he went underground.